to ensure that all of us are on the same page. Another example was, how many credentials do we have? Certifications. Any professional organization is professional if it does 4 activities. 1 is research. From the research in the profession, you bring out standards. From the standards, you bring out credentials. And once you define credentials, you have education. These are 4 key elements for any professional body. I'm proud to state that PMI today has all these 4 very, very active. I'll touch upon them briefly for each of them. At least half a dozen research activities are initiated every year, which means that half a dozen research gets published every year. The value of project management was a $2.5 million research over 3 years at global research across 70 countries, or 70 companies. This result has been published and the book is now available. The Project Management Journal, which is a member benefit which comes on a quarterly basis, provides more information on this on a regular basis. I would like to touch upon the researching the value of project management briefly. As is evident for the group who have practiced project management, there is value in project management. There is higher element of customer retention, employee satisfaction. The detailed presentation and the monograph is available for those of you interested. I just want to give you an idea of the activities which PMI does, so that all of us are on the same page and present the same face when we talk to people. Talk to you about standards. There are 11 standards. And the one on the extreme right, that is the most well-known standard. It's a global standard. It is the Harry Potter of project management. And that's the PMBOK guide, the Project Management Book of Knowledge. And like any standard, as per the ANSI rules, a standard has to be revisited, revised every 3 to 4 years. This version came out in 2004. The next version is going to come in 2008 or 2008 and 2009, version 4. There are other 2 standards also being revised, OPM3 and Program Management. They are also being revised. And the other standards get revised as and when the time for the revision happens. Credentials. There are 5 credentials. The Program Management Professional, Certified Associate Project Management, Project Management Professional, Program Management Professional, and Scheduling Professional and Risk Management Professional. The last 2 are something which have been launched this year. The PMP, Project Management Professional, is the oldest and the most popular one, with close to 300,000 credential holders worldwide. Last activity is in terms of academia. PMI is aware that it's important, 1, to train the current workforce on project management. It's also aware and it's taken initiative to ensure that project management becomes a discipline within the academia and it's integrated as a part of the course when you're doing your studies. To ensure that this happens in India, we have one person in my team who's focused only on the academia. And his role is to ensure that project management is taught as a part and parcel of a program, whether it's engineering or whether it's management. We would like to see a day when we have an MBA in project management. And we hope the day comes soon. To train the current workforce, there is a registered education program, partner program, where there are 1,000 of them globally, close to 45 of them in India. The chapters also do a lot of training. This helps the current workforce to get trained on the project management practices. Around these are the various ecosystem of PMI, which is the special interest groups, which are focused on the verticals. There's industry vertical, there is pharma, finance, IT, construction, and so on and so forth. There are virtual communities where you can share your practices, learn from each other. Then there are local chapters like these for geographical proximity and networking. The practitioners and, of course, their members. Video advocacy and video advocacy at various platforms at various levels. We partner with various organizations, and what you see on the picture is 12 trillion advertisement or the messaging which we are doing currently globally. There are 250 plus chapters in 150 countries. Though PMI is in 171 countries, we don't have chapters in all countries because the countries' laws do not permit chapter formations. We have 270,000 members and 300,000 credential holders. There may be a case where some of the members are not credential holders and some credential holders are not members. Overall, we estimate about 400,000 people to be involved with PMI today. The global distribution, Asia Pacific accounts for 30% of these 400,000 people we're talking about, of which I would estimate that close to 70% plus would come from this country. After US, after North America and Japan, the third largest member body for PMI. The challenges for today. There are key eminent speakers who want to speak after this. I will not spend my time on that. But what I did was, I talked to a few people in the US, I talked to a few people in India, and tried to figure out from them what they felt were the common factors for or challenges for project management. And topmost of them was lack of definition of scope or scope creep. My favorite is failure to manage risk. I recall the story which happened with me when I was traveling, when I had a visitor from the UK in India for a week, and we were traveling around the country. And at the end of the fourth day or something like that, we are sitting down for dinner, and he's looking at me and saying, Raj, do you know why you Indians are so successful world over? So I said, I don't know where you're getting to, I don't know what you're meaning. It's simple. You take risks. I said, what do you mean? Crossing the road in this country is a risk. When you can risk your life, what is the business? Well, I felt very glad at the time. Let me tell you, when managing projects, we need to manage risks. But the implication is just not a question of a life, it's a question of a lot of dollars which go into it. It includes lives as well. We need as Indians to be a little more sensitive about this element called risk. Ensure that we manage it well. Lack of project management skills which cuts across. What the project managers told me was that I know project management, I know what is required. My biggest problem is my team does not understand this, my boss does not understand this. So yes, in a situation where the organization is there, there's somebody in the middle who's enlightened, and there's somebody on top who's ignorant, and somebody in the bottom below who's ignorant. So it's important that everybody understands project management practices. And why so? Why am I saying all this? Because as per the study done, there are $14 trillion will be spent worldwide. Now, if you were to add to this the IT projects, the pharma R&D projects, and other such projects, it goes to a figure of 20 trillion. And that, friends, is 1/3 of the world GDP. If 1/3 of the world GDP is on projects, project management is very important. Challenges in project management become important, and answering project management challenges become very important. What we'd like to do in India is to ensure through our advocacy that worldwide organizations will embrace, value, utilize project management, and importantly, attribute the success to it. Thank you very much.
I would like to call upon R.V. Joshi on the stage to hand over a token of appreciation to Raj. Thanks, Raj. So, importantly, what I can see is that as the day unfolds, one very interesting thing is that while I was sitting and making notes myself, some very important pearls of wisdom are coming. I picked up debriefing as a very important concept straight away. Risk management, of course, a large topic, but debriefing all by itself is a concept. And how in senior management meeting nothing comes out. Everything, all the dashboards are green absolutely. And the next day you have a grand escalation from the same customer. Okay, to move ahead, we have the event keynote address by Mr. Rajneesh Virmani. Rajneesh Virmani is a BTech MBA from Delhi University with 26 years of work experience. Rajneesh has been a global player, having lived and worked in the US and UK. He started his career with TCS as a computer consultant, moving to the American Express as head of technologies, and subsequently growing into customer service and general management. He is leading over 9,000 staff in Reliance BPO as president and CEO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Rajneesh Virmani.
Thank you. Does this work? Hello. I thought, in fact, the cue I took from Raj's presentation, the 20 million practitioners, so I'm one of those 20 million, I guess. And that's all. I don't know when I became the expert to stand here and talk to an audience like this. In fact, just this morning I was coming across here and I said to my wife, hey, honey, can you imagine me going and talking to all these elite participants in this PMI workshop? In your wildest of dreams, would you imagine something like this? And she says, honey, in my wildest of dreams, you wouldn't even appear. So, so there goes my 2 penny worth. Actually, what I thought was, if I reflect back on the various organizations I've been in, and I'm sure it works for the others as well, one of the most portable, or in fact 2 most portable skills, typically you have these internal job postings and so on and so forth. So I don't know if you've analyzed the internal job postings of how people move across the organization and make careers within the same setup. The 2 most portable skills, I don't know if you can take a guess. Since this is the project management discussion, chances are one of those 2 is project management and the other one is communication skills. These are the 2 skills which are somehow the most portable right across, and whatever job you're looking for, ultimately these 2 skills come into the fore to say, if you're good at it, chances are that you'll succeed in whatever role you're applying for. And so while I did not, I've gone through an MBA, but I haven't gone through a project management class per se, But I think over time what one realizes is virtually anything and everything one is doing for a daily bread and butter talks of project management, and you have to build on the skill if you have to do well in the corporate ladder. So as a practitioner, I guess where I wanted to come through was talk a little about some of the cases that I've been through. And rather than just talk theory, what I thought was I'll take up three case studies from three different organizations that I've been through over the course of the last 10 years or so, 10 to 12 years or so. The first one is the Build, Operate, Transfer project that we did, wherein this company, might have thought of the names as well. So this is Aviva, where I was the CEO for their offshoring business. And the model that we were operating on was to say that we wanted part jobs. So this is about 6,000 BPO roles that the company had offshored into India. And of these 6,000, we wanted to have some proprietary employees and some third-party vendors. But even for the proprietary stuff, what we thought we'll do is move or ask the vendors to build the setup for us, operate it for a few years, and then transfer it into our employment. So, and this was over 2,000 staff. What made this challenging and why I've selected this as one of the case studies is that there was no Bible, there was no manual that I had to go to, that I could possibly go to. In the entire IT industry, I could find only one or two examples involving maybe Oracle and one or two other organizations where there was a build, operate, transfer done for about 200 to 300 programming staff and so on. So in a relatively much smaller scale and in the IT world, but nothing in the BPO side, and definitely nothing in the scale that we were looking at. So there was no manual to refer to say how does one go through this. So how, as a team, we sat together and virtually created that working manual to say this is how we will go through with this project ourselves. The second one is a project I did in the US with American Express, where I was the technologies leader. Where the company decided that it was spending too much of money in terms of distributed procurement. In fact, I think the bill of American Express, if I remember correctly, was about $6 billion globally on procurement. And the target that our CEO, that our chairman had given us was to say reduce the cost by 5% year after year after year from that $6 billion. So in fact, this was one project that we had initiated, which was my baby as a technologies leader in the US, which even in the first year, I think got about $150 million save. Not 5%, but I think it was a pretty big number for a first year save for the company. And the third one is in my current role in Reliance, where again, I think one of the wonderful things I'm liking about the Reliance Anil Ambani group is, think big. That is his mantra, Anil Ambani's mantra. And a year ago when I joined this organization, the first cue that he had given me was to say that you're going to enjoy this job because we plan for huge growth. We want to become the best BPO, the biggest BPO in the country. And like I was telling Raj earlier in the morning, this is probably one of the best kept secrets in the industry so far, where even as I was introduced, the number that was branded was responsible for 9,000 people. Today I'm responsible for 12,000 people. So I guess that's the speed of growth that is happening within this setup. And how we've established not one, not two, but 5 new centers within the last 6 months. So those are the 3 projects I thought, all 3 reasonably sized in their own view. But I thought rather than just talk theory, maybe I could keep citing examples from each one of these 3 projects in 3 different environments. The question I started asking myself was root cause. What is it that is causing this this entire change management flutter to happen? And the key piece is it involves people. Any project involves change, and any change will face resistance, because that is normal human behavior. People will ask you, I'm uncomfortable as is, why change? Why bother going through with this change? What's in it for me? It's so bloody important to make